Hey there, this is Hash, and as promised, here's another fan/student request video that you guys wanted me to make. This one was requested by Chris. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to play Hail to the King. Really cool song. And as always, I want to thank you guys for all the support you've been showing me. Some of you have been downloading my music through iTunes, you've been checking me out on Pandora, Spotify, and all the internet radio stations. I do really appreciate it. These lessons do take a while to put together, but I'm glad to show you guys how to learn these awesome songs. And in return, all I ask is for you guys to just check out some of my music and let me know what you guys think. I did upload a new song called Tune. That's actually on my channel, so check it out when you have a chance. And let's tune up. This song is in drop C sharp tuning. So what that is, think of your drop D tuning, but you're gonna go half a step lower than that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys my A string, and throughout this lesson I'll refer to these strings as my first string and my sixth string, so you guys don't get confused with the notes. So I'm going to give you guys my fifth string, and also what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a longer tuning video. So if it takes you a bit long to tune your guitar, just click on the link, just go through that video real quick, tune up your guitar. I'll give you all my strings from first to sixth, and then you can come back and continue this lesson if it takes you slightly longer to tune your guitar. If not, I'm just going to give you guys my fifth string a few times and you can tune up with me. So the intro riff has a very basic 3-note shape that they're using over and over again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play it fast, and then I'm going to slow it down, and you're going to be able to see what I'm talking about for this 3-note shape. It may sound complicated at first when you first listen to this riff, but if you break it down into slow parts, you'll be able to see how easy of a pattern they're using and how easy it is actually to learn this riff. So check it out. I'm going to play it fast, and then I'm going to play it slow, and I'm going to show you the pattern that I'm talking about. Alright, so at first you may not catch on to the pattern right away, but now I'm going to play it slowly, and let's see if you can understand what I'm talking about. Alright, so what they're doing there is they're using a 3-note little riff, and it has a pull-off in there, and it repeats itself over and over again. So here's what's going on. So you play one note, you pluck it, you pull it off, and then you play a note on the string right above it. Now for those of you who don't know what a pull-off is, all you're doing is you play a note on a string, and then you flick it off the fretboard. And over here, you're flicking it off to an open first string. We're playing the 12th fret on the first string, and we're flicking it off to an open first string. This is just a really, really easy example of a pull-off. So what we're doing here, we start off on the 12th fret of our first string, we flick it off, you play the 12th fret of the second string. So far what we have. Then we play the 14th fret of our first string. Flick it off to an open first string. And then we play the 12th fret of our second string again. So far what we have. It's that 3-note pattern. Your first note, second note, third note, first note, pull off, that's your second note, and your third note. then you play the 15th fret of your first string, flick it off, again to an open first string, and then you're going to play the 12th fret again on your second string. So here's what we have so far. So you see there, it's a 3-note pattern. After this, we're going to come back to the 14th fret of our first string. As you may have guessed, pull it off to an open first string. Come back to the 12th fret of our second string. So here's what we have so far. And then, so the last pattern, 14th fret of our first string, once again, flick it off, pull off to an open first string, back to the 12th fret of our second string, and the only difference this time, we're going to pluck the 12th fret of our second string one additional time. So here's what we did. That's our additional pluck. So slow. All right. So the tail end to end this part is so once again, we're using the 3-note little shape that they're using here. We start off this time with the 17th fret of our first string, pull it off, 15th fret of our second string. So we do that twice. Then we go to the 15th fret of our first string. We play it once, then we pull off to an open first string. Then we play the 15th fret of our second string. So put those two together. So you do this part twice as well. You're doing the pull off from the 15th fret on the first string to an open to the 15th fret on the second string twice as well, just like we did that with the 17th fret of the first string, pull off to the 15th fret. So what I'm talking about is this. Twice, twice. So to put that, the first part, so that's what we have so far. And then the last part, we go to the 14th fret of the first string. As you may have guessed, pull it off to an open first string. Play the 15th fret of your second string. So you pluck it and pull that off to an open second string. At first it may be difficult for you to get a clean sounding 15th fret on the second string and then pull off to the open second string, because you're probably used to doing it on the first string with this riff, but practice it and you'll be able to get it down. You may first hear the first string ringing out a bit, but once you practice it, you'll be able to get the spacing and the timing right. So the last part of the riff, here's what we got. We just added this. And this again, it's the 14th fret of the first string, pull it off to an open first string, to the 15th fret of your second string, pull it off to an open second string. So to put that with the first part of this riff, to put it together, to play it slow now. So behind the intro riff, the rhythm guitar is doing 3 power chords. You can count till 3 when you play this if you'd like, if it makes it any easier for you as far as the timing. All they're doing is this. So 1, 2, 3. It's another 3-note pattern right there, or a 3 power chord pattern. And then when the drums and bass come in, alright, so it's important to note that this song is mainly based on this power chord right here. That is the 2nd fret of your 5th string and the 2nd fret of your 6th string. So, what the rhythm guitar is doing, we start off with this power chord, 2nd fret of your 5th and 6th string. I'm playing it as a bar chord with my index finger. Then, your 2nd power chord is going to be the 4th fret of your 5th and 6th string. And then, your 5th fret of your 5th and 6th string. So, 1, 2, slow. All right. So the next part is this little mute. The way I'm getting this mute, when I put my pinky finger on the 5th fret of my 5th and 6th string, after I played the power chord, when I go, I'm lifting my finger off the frets, but I'm keeping my pinky finger still on the strings, gently, to where they're muted, but they're not pressed down. You can experiment with this a bit just to make sure you're applying the correct pressure on here. You can see what it sounds like if you move it around to the other frets. I get a really healthy mute sound on the 5th fret. That's why I'm using it right here. So, 1, 2. So when the drums and bass come in, you're doing this twice. And before that part, you're just doing, and that's it. All right, so once the drum and the bass come in, as I mentioned, you're doing, that part over there. When I go, 1, 2, 3. On the 3rd power chord, this time I let it ring out. I didn't lift my finger up to mute the strings, I just went. And then what I do, when I'm letting this power chord ring out, I put my palm of my hand. At some point I just mute it. So. So after I mute it, I play my 5th and 6th string open. So all that really does is, it sort of gets in between this power chord ringing out. You quickly silence it, and then you play your other power chord, which is the 1st and 2nd string open. So slow. So you're just silencing that last power chord here. You're just giving it a little tiny break, and then you're playing your 5th and 6th string open. And then you play the 5th fret of your 6th string, you play the 4th fret of your 6th string, and then you play the 6th string open. So far, here's what we got on the rhythm. The next part so we're using the first power chord that we use in the rhythm, which is the 2nd fret of your 5th and 6th string. Let's strum it 3 times. The second power chord we're using is the 5th fret of your 5th and 6th string. So here's what we got. And then we play our 5th and 6th string open. So slow. When I play it at the actual speed, it sounds like this. And the tail end so we're starting it the same way. We're playing the 2nd fret on the 5th and 6th string. You play it 3 times again. And this time when we play the 5th fret of your 5th and 6th string, we're going to hold this power chord. So to put that together with the first part, again, and then we play the 5th and 6th string open. So here's what we got. Slow. And to end it, we're going to play the 5th fret on your 6th string, 4th fret on your 6th string, and open 6th string. So we did this little tiny bit earlier too. So if you put it together with the riff, so I'll play it slow now. while we play this rhythm part, there's a lead guitar that's doing something else on top of this rhythm. Now, there are a lot of lead parts in this song, but once again, if you break them down to small little parts, you'll be able to catch on really quick and see the pattern that they're using. So on this part, when the bass and drums come in, when we're playing this rhythm, lead guitar is doing this. Alright, so what we're doing over here, we start off with the 5th fret of our 2nd string, then go to the 8th fret of our 2nd string, we go back to the 5th, and we play our 2nd string open. So remember this riff, because a lot of the leads are based on this right over here. So once again, 5th fret of our 2nd string, 8th fret of our 2nd string, 5th fret again, and open 2nd string. You're going to do this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And after that, we're going to go to the 3rd fret of our 2nd string, to the 5th fret of our 2nd string, back to the 3rd fret, to an open 2nd string. So, put together. So we're doing this 3 times, and doing this once. Slow. So the last time you may have noticed, I played this part a few more times, this part. So try to catch on to the pattern here when I play it to you. So I'm going to play the entire thing and try to see how many times I'm doing each part, not necessarily counting, but just trying to see if you can feel how the riff is changing. You can play along if you'd like. Once again, I'm going to play it slow. Once again. All right. So the next part is, so the vocal rhythm is based on the same power chord, which is the 2nd fret on your 5th and 6th string. Now I'm going to play the vocal rhythm, and then I'm going to come back and break it down for you guys. Alright, so I'm going to do this in 2 parts. I'm going to first break down the part that you probably noticed is right around here on the fretboard, and then I'm going to break down the second part, which is right around here. So I'm going to play the first part slow now. So we start off with this power chord, 2nd fret of your 5th and 6th string. We play it without palm muting it once. And then we start palm muting it. So here's what we're doing. So you're letting it ring when you play it for the first time. And after that, you're palm muting the same power chord. So I don't like to count how many times I'm playing a riff if it's a long one. So this is a long riff, and don't try to count how many times there's no point in doing that. Try to feel the change coming. Try to feel the build-up in the song. It's a lot more fun to do it that way, and that way you're not memorizing stuff. So watch me do it and actually try to play along with me and see if you can catch on to the pattern here. So over here, I play this palm muted, this power chord, and in the end of this shape that I'm palm muting, when I take the little break which goes, I play 2nd fret of my 5th and 6th string again, palm muted. Then I play the 5th fret on my 5th and 6th string. This time it's not palm muted. So I go. So to put that together with the first part, and what I just added over there is my 5th and 6th string open. So there are 3 power chords that are in the end of this shape, which are, you put, with the first part you get slow, so when you do, you go back to the same power chord again, which is the 2nd fret of your 5th and 6th string. You're not going to palm mute it, you're going to strum it. So you did this. So what I just did, when I do the 3 power chord shape, which is, I come back to that power chord, which is the 2nd fret of my 5th and 6th string. I play it without palm muting it once, and then I start palm muting it again. And this time, I'm palm muting it not as many times as I was the first time around in this riff. And to end it, I play my 5th and 6th string open. So what I did, to put that together with the part right before it, with the 3 power chords, and to put it with the first part of this riff, again. Slow. And then we play the 5th fret on our 6th string, 4th fret on our 6th string, and then we play our 6th string open. So to put all of this together, you can try to play along with me if you'd like. That way you can sort of feel the build-up coming when I change one shape to another. So try to play with me if you'd like. rhythm, there's a little bit of a buildup. Alright, so I start this off with the 5th and 6th string on the 9th fret. So I go, so I'm strumming it twice, then a third time, and then my second power chord, which is the 12th fret on my 5th and 6th string. So I'm doing the second power chord with my pinky finger. You can do it with your ring finger. And then so you do this shape once, you do it again, and then you add another power chord, which is the 7th fret on your 5th and 6th string. So to put it together, 1, 2, and then power. First time, second time. So we're adding this last power chord on the second time we play this riff. So slow. And then we move 2 frets up the fretboard, and we're doing the exact same thing, but just 2 frets higher. So we start off by strumming the 11th fret on the 5th and 6th string twice. And then we do it a third time, and right after the third time, we're going to strum the 14th fret on the 5th and 6th string. So here's what we're doing. 1, 2, 1, 2. So the second time we do, we're going to play the 9th fret on our 5th and 6th string. So we're going to go. So to put that together, alright, so to put that all together with a vocal rhythm from the start, here's what we have. So feel free to rewind this as many times as you may have to if you're not getting all of it down right away. And don't worry, I wasn't able to learn it right away either. It takes a few times and a little bit of practice, but you guys will be fine. So the next part is the vocal rhythm, and here's what the lead guitars are doing. Alright, so I'm going to break this into 2 parts. The first part is going to be the lower parts where I'm playing. And then the second part is going to be the higher parts, which is where I go. Alright, so let's start with the lower parts. Now, if you just think about what we just did right before the vocals came in, we were playing this pattern with the lead guitar. We were doing this. So we were playing this 3 times, and we were going here and playing this one. So all that we're going to do right now is we're just going to change the number of times we're playing. So let's play the 5th fret on our 2nd string to the 8th to the 5th, this part, only twice. On the part right before this, we were doing it 3 times. Now we're just going to do this twice. So we're going to go, and then we're going to switch. We're going to go right back to the same little part that we were playing on the riff right before, which is the 3rd fret of our 2nd string and the 5th fret of our 2nd string. Back to the 3rd fret and open. So 2 times. 2 times. Twice here and twice here. So it's the same little riff, but we're just playing it a different number of times for each part. So we're doing this part twice, and this part twice. So the 3rd time around, and when I say 3rd time, here's what I mean. Here's the 1st time, 2nd time, 3rd time. So on the 3rd time around, after I did, I went to the 8th fret of my 2nd string, 10th fret of my 2nd string, back to the 8th fret, to an open 2nd string. So I went from twice, so put that together with the other part. And then we're going to go back to the 3rd fret of our 2nd string, 5th fret of our 2nd string, back to the 3rd, to an open 2nd string. So, to put all of that together, slow. So the next part is the higher notes in this riff, which goes. Let's get right to it. So we start off with the 10th fret of our 2nd string, 13th fret of our 2nd string, back to the 10th fret, to an open 2nd string. So So what I'm doing on the tail end, I'm going to my 8th fret of my 2nd string, to the 10th fret of my 2nd string, back to the 8th, to an open 2nd. So to put it together, so slow. Alright, so when I went higher on the fretboard, what I did is I'm playing the 12th fret of my second string, 15th fret of my second string, back to the 12th, to an open second. So when I go, then I go to the 10th fret of my second string, 12th fret, back to the 10th, and an open second. So 10, 12, 10, open, 10, 12, 10, open. So put that little piece together. Slow. So to put that together with the part right before it, together over the vocal rhythm, here's what the leads are doing. Alright, so rewind this part if you have to, if you want to go to the parts again. It may take a little bit of practice to pick this one up just because it's not that easy to pick a riff like this up right away. And if you're able to right away, props to you, man. You're a lot quicker than I am. But it took me a few times to get this, so don't worry if you have to practice a little bit more. No big deal. Alright, so the next part is going to be the chorus. So there's a really cool hook that's going on over there. So, as you may have guessed, we're starting off with our same power chord, which is the 2nd fret on our 5th and 6th string. So, the 2nd power chord that I'm using is my 5th and 6th string open. So, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What I did over here is the 5th and then the 4th fret on my 6th string, and then my 6th string over. So normal speed. Second part. Now the second part of this riff, what I'm doing, I'm playing the 3rd fret on my 5th string and the 5th fret on my 4th string. So think of this part as in sets of 2. So play this power chord twice. So that's your first set of 2. And your second set of 2, play it again. And instead of playing the same power chord again, this time play your 5th string open. So what you did, your first set of 2, your second set of 2. And then you're going to have one more set of 2, and that's going to go so. So the first set of 2, second set of 2, and the third set of 2. Once again, we're playing the 3rd fret of my 5th string, 5th fret of my 4th string, and then we're going to play the 5th fret of my 5th string and the 7th fret of my 4th string. So to put that together with just the second half of this chorus part, I'm actually sliding it when I go, but I'm still strumming both the power chords. So to put it together with the first part of the chorus, and as you noticed, I'm doing this little tail end, which is the 5th fret on my 6th string, and then the 4th fret on my 6th string, and then an open 6th string. So the chorus once again. So slow. Alright, and as you may have guessed, there's a lead guitar that plays over this part too. So over the chorus, here's what the lead guitars are doing. So it's really just 2 shapes over here. What we're doing is we're playing the 5th fret of our 2nd string, 8th fret of our 2nd string. This is a little riff that I said that you should remember throughout this song because we use this a lot. Back to the 5th fret of our 2nd string, and then an open 2nd string. So. Then we're going to move up to the 7th fret of our 2nd string, to the 10th fret of our 2nd string, back to the 7th fret of our 2nd string, and then open 2nd string. So put together. Also, on the chorus, there's a guitar that does this. And there's a second guitar that harmonizes with it and does this. So after the chorus is done, there's a little part that ties the song back into the second verse, and the lead guitar is doing this. Again. So it's a series of pull-offs is what that is. So after the second chorus, right before the solo, there's a small part where the rhythm and the lead guitar slightly changes. So first I'm going to play you what the lead guitar is doing, so you know what part I'm talking about. Then I'm going to show you the rhythm, I'm going to teach you that, and then I'm going to show you what the lead guitar is doing as well. So I'm talking about this part. Alright, so in this part, which is right after the second chorus and right before the solo, here's what the rhythm guitar is doing. Alright, so we start off with the second fret of our 5th and 6th string and we go. So we're playing this power chord, and then we play the 5th and 6th string open. So, again, again, and then we play our 2nd fret of our 5th string and 4th fret of our 4th string. So, alright, so the last time I did something different, and here's what I did. So this part was the same, then I slide to the 2nd fret of my 5th and 6th string. So, and then I'm going to slide to the 4th fret of my 6th string and the 5th fret of my 5th string. So. So what I just did is I slid from the 4th fret of my 6th string to the 5th fret of my 6th string. Now I didn't move my middle finger, that's still on the 5th fret of my 5th string. So I went, so. And after that, I'm going to go to the 4th fret of my 5th and 6th string together. So. So I'm sliding between all these power chords. And the last power chord is the 2nd fret of my 5th string and the 4th fret of my 4th string. And I let that one ring. So slow. put that together with the entire part that's after the second chorus and before the solo, here's what we're doing. Alright, and now here is the lead guitar that goes over that part. Here's what I'm doing over there. Alright, so we start off on the 5th fret of our 2nd string, to the 8th fret, to the 5th fret again, to an open 2nd string. So we go, and then we're going to move up. We're going to move up 2 frets. We're going to go to the 7th fret on our 2nd string, to the 10th fret of our 2nd string, back to the 7th, to an open 2nd string. So what we have so far. So we do this part 4 times. The next part 2 times. Once again. And then we're going to go to the 4th fret of our 2nd string, to the 7th fret of our 2nd string, back to the 4th fret, to an open 2nd string. So, to put this together, here's what we got so far. Slow. And the next part, we're going to go back to the 5th fret of our 2nd string, to the 8th fret, back to the 5th again, to an open 2nd string. So this is going to be 4 times. And then we're going to move on to the 10th fret of our 2nd string, to the 13th, back to the 10th, to an open 2nd string. So here's what we did. To put it with the part right before it, once again. So what I just did, after I did from the 10th to the 13th to the 10th to an open 2nd string, after this, after doing this twice, I move back to the 7th fret of my 2nd string, go to the 10th, back to the 7th, open 2nd string. So here's what I did. Put it together. Again. And then we're going to go 1 fret higher. Now we're going to go to the 8th fret of our 2nd string. And we're going to do a little bit of a stretch here. Now we're going to go to the 12th fret of our 2nd string. So this is a little bit more of a stretch than what we were just doing. We're going to go back to the 8th fret. And we're going to play our 2nd string open. So to tie it in, again. And then we're going to go back to the 7th fret of our 2nd string, to the 10th fret, back to the 7th fret again, to an open 2nd string. So here's what I did. And I play that twice. To put it together, again. And the last note that I added is the 7th fret of my 1st string. So once again, so to put this entire part together, that's after the 2nd chorus and right before the solo, here's what we're doing. So that's Hail to the King. Now, if you watch this video and you're wondering why your playing doesn't sound exactly like the record, there's only one reason why. That's because you haven't practiced enough. When I learn a song like this, I'm not able to play it right away. A lot of times what I will do is I'll learn it and then I'll see my guitar laying around the room, maybe right before I go to work, before I go to school, sometimes before I go to bed. I'll just pick up the guitar, I won't plug it into anything, and I'll just try to play the song. That way my fingers get used to the movement on the fretboard, my finger muscles get used to the song, and my playing improves within a day or two because it's a new song, it's not that easy to learn. So don't worry if your playing doesn't sound exactly like the record right now. It's not that easy to play this song, but if you already do, then hey, props to you. You're a faster learner than I am. But if it's taking you a bit longer, that's fine. Give it a day or two, just practice, and you'll be able to get this song done in no time. Well, thanks a lot for watching, and as always, give me more requests, I'll make more of these lessons. Also check out my music, my band's name is The Hash. You can find me on Spotify, Rhapsody, and Pandora, and all the other internet stations. And thanks for watching, and take care.